Yo, what is up, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another trade recap. Today, I took a loss. It was really frustrating, not because it was a loss, but more so because I accidentally oversized a bit too much on accident. I when the trade triggered, I tried entering, and I accidentally entered the wrong contract size on Trade of 8, and there's an error, so I had to recalculate it. And then by the time I re-put in the actual sizing, price had like dumped. I think it was like 6 or 8 points in the direction I wanted it to. So I got a really late fill without realizing it, which made my stop loss. I had to move my stop loss wider, which then made it just oversized and it was a loss. So that was really frustrating. But other than that, I thought it was a great trade. It's just the price conditions. I don't think were too favorable today. I think the reason why price conditions weren't amazing was because we had this massive overnight move. How many points was this? Oh, it wasn't even that much. I mean, we had like a decent sized move overnight, so I suppose it's normal for price to chop around like it is today. Um, but yeah, I'll walk you guys through like why exactly I took the trade and my bias. So I was really basing my bias off the 1 hour, sorry. And I think the reason why price is kind of still going up right now is because it's just this order block on the 4 hour that continues to hold. You can see how we kept on wicking below it, but never closed below this order block, or else it'd be a breaker. But what happened on the 1 hour here, which where I formed my entire bias off of, was we had this breaker right here, and then we also let me highlight the breaker for you guys. We had this breaker right here, and then we had a BPR and inverse fair value gap and a CISD. So just like all types of confluences, right? And then we are also bouncing off of this daily gap right here. So I thought it was just pretty simple in terms of what the bias was. I was going to look for lower prices here, and then there's also a bunch of equal lows down here. All these relatively equal lows. And it's funny because previous London session and this um, previous London session and then the previous London session lows made equal lows here. We also had Asia lows below. So just based off liquidity, I thought it made sense for us to go lower. And going into the day here, let me mark out open. At open, we had this Judah swing. I'm trying to find it. I think it was the 30-second I took at first. Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. I took this 30-second here. It was a break-even trade. This high was an SMT. That's why I took it instead of waiting for these highs to be swept because we already formed SMT. I took this and I went break even at this internal low here, and it just got stopped out of break even, which it is what it is. And then later on, I took this trade. I thought this was literally amazing. Oh shoot. Yeah, I got hard stopped out here. I put my hard stop at the swing high, but it filled me here, thankfully. I think it was because it's weird wick. I think this was like a super fast wick, so I would my stop loss would have got filled right here, but it actually thankfully got filled right here, or I'd be out a lot more. Um, but yeah, I took this 2 minute. I mean, I thought it was so obvious. Like we just swept all of these highs here. We were bouncing off of this BPR, lined up with my bias and everything. It was like literally three candle V shape with strong momentum down. It was literally everything I wanted to see. So I don't regret taking this at all. I'll literally take this 10 out of 10 times. It's just really unfortunate that price conditions were not favorable and I just got stopped out. It is what it is. I mean, that's why I only take one trade a day because just with the model I use, if I'm taking the highest probability setups, then if I take a loss and it's actually a high probability setup, that means that price action is probably not favorable and I just step away. That's why I only take one trade a day, win or loss, right? So yeah, and I'll show you where I got filled. I got filled like right here. It was so bad. I tried getting in right here, and like I was saying, the trade of eight thing, the broker I was using it the way it copy trades my accounts, I have to put in multiples of like the accounts. I just have to do math, right? In terms of like if I want to take 8 contracts, I have to times that by a certain number, and I did the math wrong. So when I tried entering here, it said the math was wrong, so I had to recalculate the math. And by the time I did that, it was literally like 2 seconds. I got filled like right here, and then now I had like a friggin' 50 point stop instead of a 30 point stop. So that's why I'm out like a lot more than what I'd usually be out on, which does suck. I am still green on the month, barely green though. Uh, my win rate this month has been 50%, which has been really rough. Um, and I mean, after reflecting on it, I think every single trade I took so far this month, I like. I thought they were great trades. So I think the main thing is possibly just identifying price action not being favorable, as well as, as with any model, you'll go through periods of it, performing super well. Like I remember I think it was April, I went on like an 8 winning streak. I had like a maybe 80% win rate that month, and everything was great. And then this month, it's obviously a bit rougher, right? And it is what it is, but that's just how trading is. There will be times where your model does really well. You're going to be printing money out of thin air. And there's other times where you're going to be struggling a bit. You might be break even. You might be, in drawdown for a whole month. You might barely be in profit, and that's just kind of how it goes. And it looks like this trade is actually about to pan out here. Technically speaking, this actually this BPR, you call it, yeah, BPR, is still holding because of this tiny little volume imbalance right here. I would have got stopped out because I always set my hard stop at a recent swing high. Obviously, I don't want to get stopped out at the swing high because I risk based off a closure above the fair value gap. So if I get stopped at the swing high, it's significantly more. But the reason why I set a hard stop at the swing high is because I don't know if Trump is going to do some random ass tweet that's going to like pump price like 1,000 points, and I just get like all my accounts get blown, right? So I just put the stop loss at the swing high just in case there is some random tweet that Trump tweets just so I can stop the bleeding, right? But this actually would have never stopped me out if we didn't get hard stopped here because of this little volume imbalance that's still holding. I just had to hold through all of this chop here, and it looks like price wants to dump again. I mean, you can see how bad this price action is. So, um, yeah, that's terrible. But yeah, that's the recap for today, guys. Hope you guys could have learned something here. Um, yeah, I'm really happy with this trade. The only thing I'm not happy with, obviously, is just the risk, which is unfortunate. That's just my human error of not calculating fast enough. Maybe I should have just waited for a retrace, but in the moment, I was like, oh, okay, maybe if I get like a little bit of a fill, my risk will probably be the same, and I'll go break even at the same point, right? I wasn't expecting the risk or the stop loss to be way wider than it actually was. I thought it maybe be like 5 more points, right? Which I was fine with, but it ended up being like 10, 15, 20 more points. Um, but yeah, I mean it is what it is. I'm still green on the month, just barely though from last week because I had a really decent day on Thursday last week where I was up like 1,600. But today I'm down like 1,200 across the two fundeds. But it is what it is. You live and you learn. You manage your risk. You take high probability setups and you let the probabilities play out over a long period of time. As long as I don't crash out, do anything stupid, take more than one trade a day, over leverage, take mid setups, and I'll be fine. Just gotta let the law of large numbers play out over a long period of time. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna go hit the gym, gonna go on with my day, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day.